This computer. Okay. Hey, Cerid.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it's we've known each other for a bit now, so uh thank you for joining me on this lovely but humid Friday. Um and yeah, it's good to get you on the podcast. I know we talked about a long time. So I guess just for starters, maybe tell a little bit about to our viewers, as small as or big as they might be, where you're at, where you're located, what kind of law you practice.
Okay, yeah. So, hello, everyone. I'm Cerid Lugar. I'm currently residing in Roanoke, Virginia. So, I practice in Southwest Virginia generally. I'm overall a general practitioner, but with concentrations in workers' comp and personal injury. And then I pick up cases here, then there. People like to say I'm kind of an academic. So, if something piques my interest, I take the case and dive in deep on them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, anything that I think is fun or interesting or someone really needs help on, I kind of get roped in on.
Yeah, I remember we had these like conversations about like how can we get more expungement petitions out, for example, or like the nuances of a judge's ruling. It seems like you like to get into the legal details.
Yeah,
So
I'm very much a weeds type of person. So
you have as an attorney for sure. Especially one defending you, I guess. But
yeah, I do like expungements. There's been a lot of changes in Virginia on that. So it's kind
mhm,
of fun keeping up with those times. So
it's cool. Going a little bit earlier, I guess, just like to ask attorneys about it. What got you into law like in the first place? Like why'd you go to law school, I guess? It's my first question.
yeah, so that's an easy one for me because I always wanted to be a lawyer. I make the joke my mom was a doctor, so the only other option was being a lawyer, and I didn't want to be a doctor based on what I saw what my mom had to deal with.
So
But I also really like to argue, and I always wanted to help people. So I guess those things go hand in hand with law.
yeah.
So that's I pretty much had an idea that I wanted to go to law school since I was a little kid.
Were you like straight out? Did you go to law school straight out, or did you
Yes.
have different
Right after undergrad, I went to law school.
call it K to JD or something like that? Interesting. Did you do any pro bono clinics or things during law school?
Well, no, so my law school was actually in its infancy when I went there. And they were kind of still developing a bunch of stuff there when I started. They had like a mediation and a debate team, but that was really all that we had. I did work with what was it? I think it's Law Street. So you go to some of the like group kid homes and teach them law that might be applicable to them that would be helpful. So landlord tenant issues, contract, basic contract concepts, criminal law.
Mm.
Um, so you had exposure to at-risk youth there, and I got into some kind of leadership position. It's been so long since I've been there that I can't
Yeah.
even remember the official titles or anything. But yeah, it was pretty rewarding. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
How long have you been practicing law in total?
Well, so I graduated law school since 2008. So they make a joke that all lawyers are bad at math, so I'll let everyone else do the math on that. Passed the bar that fall, so October 2008.
Wow.
And then I lived in London for 3.5 years, so I did kind of alternative law practice when I was over there,
Interesting.
and was in the Bank of England. It's called the, oh my gosh, Financial Market Law Group. And then I also worked for the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, which is like a mediation arbitration organization, and then the Kurdish Human Rights Project. So that pretty much summarizes my interest, right? Like it's all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. But it seems like there's like some themes around like litigation and focuses on like you said, there's some element of like obviously when you work with clients directly, it's helping people, which is central to law. So yeah, it's always interesting to me when I talk to lawyers and it's like um this and that and other things, but at the end of the day, it's about helping people. So that's really interesting to me. That's all for that common good, I guess. Which can be, I've heard some stories, so it's up and down with clients, but
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very much an up and down industry, just overall. I mean, you take big
Yeah.
hits either from your clients or especially if you're in litigation, just the
Posing.
constant back and forth and fights and adversarial nature of it. But there's some real highlights too. I love where I practice. The majority of my colleagues are just absolutely wonderful and great, and I really like being around them and talking to them. So it's a nice thing, and they're all intellectual, so it's great to have like conversations
Smart call.
about the stuff that you like too. So.
Yeah. That's good to hear. What's your favorite like type of practice, I guess, within law or specialty?
Well, I honestly I like any time that I'm able to kind of get
Mm,
in and try to be reasonable and try to talk to people and try to work it out. I really do believe in negotiation, mediation,
mm.
not so much arbitration. I
Yeah.
think that's more of a scam of like trying to keep things out of court, but don't quote me on that. Maybe later I'll believe in it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's like 90% of my job, even though I go to court a lot, there's still negotiation happening almost every single day, whether it's with the opposing counsel or your own client, as to like trying to show them what the exposure is, what the challenges are. I know that people think that they feel harmed or wronged, and they probably have been, but
Mm,
going through court is a whole different ballgame, and proving that too is another huge hurdle at times. So there's evidentiary rules that just require so much, and it's like, yeah, I believe you, I get you, but what's going to be required to prove that? I mean, I don't do medical malpractice, but
mhm.
those are some of the more unfortunate cases, I think, because I'll push those to some other counsel, and yeah, they're like, oh yeah, this is looks pretty bad, but unless they've been harmed over like 100 grand, there's no point in
Or-
taking the case, because we have to hire experts to show this, and the protracted litigation on this is not worth the
Yeah.
amount of money. So there's lots of harms that are out there, and I guess that maybe is a good segue, but I'll let you lead the conversation into AI and the assistance there that can kind of take some of that heavy load of time constraints away from things.
Yeah, that's been big. Like without getting too much into the weeds on like the application of the AI, but I guess like what are your thoughts on like the attorney adoption first off? Like around you, what would you say is like not like a hard percentage, but how many attorneys around you I think are using AI in their practice?
That's a good question. I probably need to go to some more of my local bar events. I'm definitely going to be going to a bigger regional event, actually maybe statewide event next week. So maybe I get another finger on the pulse on that.
Yeah.
I did go to one of my subgroups, so my workers' comp. I went to a conference like last month, I think, and I was really surprised on how whether they're using it or not, they're not admitting to it, and,
Yeah, yeah,
and reticent that they were on even really kind of engaging. Now, I would say that that practice group is relatively older than even me. I feel like an old person now, but they're a lot older, so maybe their staff's using it and not telling them.
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But it was very quiet when that kind of conversation came up right at the end of the conference. And I was actually a little disappointed that we didn't even have like a section on it, because it's obviously so big and really has exploded this year,
Yeah.
even more.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting. How do you see like AI changing the practice for younger attorneys and especially those going solo?
I think, so there's the people like me who I think are like the front facing kind of counsel. So it's almost like going back to the English legal system that I was in for that time I was over there,
Yeah.
where you have the barristers and then you have the solicitors. So the barristers are the ones that put on the wigs and the robes, right? And they're the front facing people that argue in court. And then you have the solicitors that are drafting kind of more what's the word? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now, but
Yeah.
transactional, right?
Okay.
So I think it will really help the barristers
Yeah. Yeah.
with more of the transactional type of work that the barristers aren't generally very strong on. So like drafting documents, like barristers don't like to do that overall. I don't want to speak for all barristers, but
Yeah.
like just to, keep that example.
Yeah.
We like to be in front. We like to be litigating the case and
Yeah.
showing what the material is going to show and like presenting it. And I think AI is going to be a tremendous tool for us to get
Mhm.
that stuff organized and cleaned and cleared up and congealed nicely together and maybe even put a nicer package of writing together with it. So
Yeah. Okay. And in your application of general AI, and Bruce, obviously you've been using us. Thank you so much. But has it been a material difference in your practice and time in terms of time saved?
Uh, yeah, for sure. I still need to work on my implementation. It was some I like to have New Year's resolutions. This was one of them. And I like to follow through on things. I'm a very goal-oriented person.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm still kind of chugging along, trying to make sure because habits are hard to break, and like you have your whole process, and then you're like, oh, here's a new one. How do I implement it? I got to keep this in my brain that this is something I can use. Um, but yeah, it's definitely saved me time when I thought about it. I think one of the biggest things that I love is transcribing pretty much everything because reading is a lot faster than listening, and you can also do searches. And I know in these bigger cases, I can cross pollinate those phone calls that have been transcribed with all the other documents and like word search and all of that. I have a huge case right now that I know that's going to be a huge benefit for. Um, I don't know if I'm answering this question right or not, but we have like med summaries that we need to do for our personal injury and workers' comp cases. That's going to save gosh knows how much time.
Right. Right.
In the past, like I was asked to make a comment for a legal periodical about an expungement case that had come out, and I was just curious to see how Bruce was going to do with the interpretation of the case versus my own,
Right.
and it was great. And
Here. Yeah.
Bruce was very much in line with the way I looked at it, so I love Bruce for that. But
Yeah.
it was nice to see kind of an additional type of language
Mhm.
interpreting it. So I typed out my own thing and then I saw what Bruce had done. And frankly, I don't know if I hybrided the two or if I used more of Bruce's stuff for my own. I don't remember, but I do remember being pretty, well, actually very happy with how Bruce did the case law analysis on that. So yeah, and I know Bruce is having new
Mhm.
I guess avenues for organizing, and I'm guessing with all the other AI stuff that I've come across, we'll be doing some nice summaries of emails and
Yeah.
suggestions as to what can be done with those, keeping the practice a lot more organized, which is always a struggle when you're a small practitioner and you have 10 billion cases going on.
Yeah. I'm always amazed like how I heard the stories about managing all the clients in a week. It's pretty incredible what you're able to do with such limited staff. So it's
Yeah, I mean, I know that so I use Google and it has been nice to have those like, do you need to reply to this thing? And that's kind of come out this year, which has been it's helped me in a few instances, and I'm guessing Bruce will be like, this seems like and AI is always learning, right? So it
yeah.
starts kind of tracking what you're doing and goes, okay, I'm picking up a theme here, which is one of the things I've been frustrated with technology to begin with. I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like this should happen already.
Yeah, where it like picks up on your past like habits.
Yeah, patterns.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm a
totally.
pattern person, so I'm like, why aren't patterns? I want the computer to be studying me for my practice.
Yeah, I guess everyone's different in how they approach technology and AI.
I think it's here to help. I mean, yeah, obviously every tool can be used in whatever way, but
it's a good
I
starting point. Yeah.
yeah.
I guess not to take too much of your time, but I guess for people starting out, the newer generation of lawyers, is there any tips or advice you have for lawyers, newly minted ones, or those?
Ooh, gosh. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is your chance.
yeah, wow. I try a different profession. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I think getting in and trying to understand and I guess if we're talking solo young attorneys, trying to set up and organize and try to figure out workflows and how they work the best is imperative. Always reaching out to colleagues and resources is there's tons of lawyers out there that want to help and are happy to talk and think they know everything, right? So happily talk about their practice and experience. And I think that's creating a network just of attorneys that you can lean on is imperative for everyone, especially young attorneys.
Absolutely. One last question. Any messages for your clients or future clients?
Oh, well, yeah, sure. Hi, happy to help and look forward to speaking to you. So love to listen to what the issue is and hopefully we can resolve it for you.
Thanks, Cerid.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.